The fastest electric boat so far is... This clip is proudly powered by PartsView.com. They are marine parts and outboard superstore. They have 20, 100, and 300-hour maintenance kits for Yamaha, Mercury, Suzuki outboards, as well as Mercruiser. You can get a discount using the link in the descriptions below. The fastest electric boat so far is Princeton University's Big Bird. And this electric boat broke the record and now holds it at 114 miles an hour. So that is the best that we have for the electrics. I want to say I calculated that down to 182 horsepower based on how you can convert an electric engine to horsepower, because it's totally different, but that is about what we have. The engine for Big Bird was an electric outboard that was co-developed with Flux Marine. Flux Marine is an electronic outboard manufacturer, and those are the world's fastest boats. For our next comment though, we have Eric, and says about how much for a full rewire of a 27-foot boat. So this is going to depend vastly on what you want to do with the boat. On average, for a 27-foot boat, depending on if you're doing it yourself or you are paying someone to do it, how much stuff are you changing? For just the rewire, and that's changing out your switches and all the wiring in the boat, battery switches, breakers, and fuses and stuff like that, you're probably going to be in the boat for roughly $3,000 to $6,000 just in the parts. If you're changing the components on the boat as well, you're probably going to be in the $10,000 to $13,000 range because of all the components. And then if you are changing out the components and the electronics, being your VHF, your radio, and your Garmin, your GPS transducer, all that stuff, you're probably going to be pushing $20,000 to $25,000 depending on what packages you go with. And then if you pay someone to do that, you are probably going to be looking at anywhere from $30,000 to $40,000, maybe even $50,000 based on what you put in that boat. Being a 27-foot boat has a lot of space. Is it a cuddy cabin? Is it a cruiser? Is it just a center console? Because the different things that you're going to have on the boat are going to vary, because the 27-foot boat, I mean, you can have a lot of different types of boats with a lot of different types of electronics and stuff in the boat, because 27 feet is getting into be a larger boat. And then Jeff Platts says, I asked you during the live about Vevor hydraulic steering. Yeah, we did a live last Tuesday, a couple weeks ago. That was awesome. If you missed it, we apologize. We do a live every week for our Boaters program and channel members. So if you have not joined the Boaters program, you can do that. We do have lives, which is a lot more interactive, asking questions and stuff like that, opposed to the podcast where it's mainly answering the questions. But he put the Vevor hydraulic steering on his 1996 21-foot Boston Whaler Outrage, and have to say he's impressed so far. Installation was easy, and it handles similar to the Sea Star. Also paid $400 compared to $1,900 for the Sea Star. So Vevor is definitely something that I want to try out. I'm glad that you did say this, Jeff, because yeah, for $400 for the complete system, it is, I mean, that's crazy. But yeah, to save $1,500 on the hydraulic steering system, it would probably depend also on the horsepower rating. I don't know how high Vevor will go. I want to say that they only do like 150 horsepower. I don't know if there are systems you can put on a 300 or not. I have not looked into it that much, but I do want to try that, and I appreciate you letting us know that, Jeff. That is a great comment. Simplify says, is this stuff any good for a transom in a John boat? So now we're talking about PVC board. And I will say this, John. So PVC board is very, very soft. It is not near as durable as starboard or other types of plastics, but it is, you know, it's not going to rot. It's plastic. For using on a John boat, I'm sure you could use it as a backing plate, maybe double it up so it's 1 inch thick, and use a transom saver, or depending on the engine. Because if you're just clamping the outboard on, say you've got a 25 horse and you're clamping it, you're not bolting it, you definitely want to put something in front of the PVC. But as far as the structure of it, using it as a transom, I will say this, we did use it on a 13 whaler about 10 years ago. I helped a friend of mine. We did a transom out of the PVC board. So, and I mean, he did most of the work. I was just kind of hanging out but I did see it done, and it seemed to work. The boat's still being used 10 years later. So, you know, it held up there, but that's encapsulated in fiberglass. So a lot of the strength is the fiberglass, opposed to on the John boat, you're going to have the outside layer of the John boat, which is going to be either aluminum or some type of metal, depending on the brand and what the boat's made out of. But I would say using it as a backing plate, if you double it up, make it an inch thick, it's going to give you enough strength to hold a 25 horse. I mean, obviously, depending on the John boat, I mean, you don't want to put like a 90 on there or something like that. That might be pushing the limits, but it's giving it the thickness, gives you strength in the structure, and having an outside layer being a transom saver and the outside layer of the boat, that metal is going to give you, it's going to be your strength, and the thickness of the PVC board is going to give you strength. So, I mean, I think you could do it if you, depending on how you did it. You know, you have to be careful. You don't want to just put the clamps on the PVC board, because the stuff is soft. It's going to smash it, and it will fail. Your engine will fall off if you just use that PVC. Now, if you enjoyed this clip, you can watch the full episode over here, or you can watch another one over here.